Hello, and welcome to Benny's Alternate Universe. I am your host, Benny, with you as always, discussing the tapes and what's good in the tape collection, new developments in the tape collection. First and foremost, I want to point your attention to my wardrobe. This is the Allergic to Humans official COVID t-shirt, and I'm also wearing my kamikaze bandana because I'm about to embark on a suicide mission known as PROG DAZE. This is a 4-part quadrilogy in which I'm going to discuss some PROG tapes which I acquired recently. My time limit is 12 minutes on part 1, so I'm going to try and be brief. May end up being a 5-part series just so I can cover everything. That's in keeping with the PROG spirit. These are the PROG tapes that I acquired the other day. I don't know if you can see, but there's a number of Yes tapes, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, one King Crimson, and a bunch of Genesis tapes. So it's quite the haul. Thank you so much to my friend Joe Pugh, who was thinking of me in my isolated state and knowing how much I would love to have some new and extended music to listen to. So that's what I've been doing. Without further ado, my history with PROG is very spotty. I would say I'm pretty ignorant about the madcap world of PROG, the weird and wonderful world of progressive rock. As a kid, I was a big Rush fan. While I consider Rush to be pretty progressive, they're more on the rock side for me. They don't really get into the classical and jazz side of things that I think really is a big part of PROG. When I was a little older, I got into Yes. I found a bunch of Yes LPs, and I think Yes is an amazing band. That's definitely more of a true PROG band in that they're going to have your 20-minute plus songs. You're going to have your records that only have 3 songs, one on side 1 and 2 on side 2, and very PROG type band. Great band. It's one of the things about Rush that I think was a reason why they were so popular too among PROG bands, is that their albums would always have a very good balance between the proggier instrumentals and the rockier side of things. And I think Yes was an important precursor to that, because Yes did have their more radio singles, and you do hear Roundabout on the radio, Seen All Good People, and they had their hits for sure, in addition to their extended epics. So I got into Yes, and then King Crimson was a weird one for me. I had some King Crimson records really early on. Wake Up Poseidon was the one I really listened to a lot. Great album. Lark's Tongue and Aspic, which I now have on cassette. Thank you so much, Joe. We're going to be talking about this during PROG DAZE. 3 of a Perfect Pair, which is kind of a weird one from them, but also a great album. I love King Crimson, definitely one of my favorite PROG bands, but I don't really listen to them that much either. I don't listen to PROG that often. When I do, I enjoy it, but I was never a PROG head. And that's why I say that this is a suicide mission, because you got a couple different kinds of people out there. People who don't care about PROG, hate PROG, will not watch PROG DAZE parts 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5. And people who love PROG and know so much about PROG that they will immediately take me to school and say, you don't get it, and you miss this, that, and the other thing. I'm just a casual PROG fan. I enjoy it now and again. This is definitely the most PROG I've listened to extendedly since I got the Yes records. Because when I got the Yes records, I got Close to the Edge, Relayer, Going for the One, all great records. Yes album. But Yes is another one that we're going to talk about in a future episode. Today we're going to talk about a band that I never listened to much at all. I had heard their singles on the radio. Honestly, I didn't even know that they were attributed to them. And that is Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And at the recommendation of my friend Joe, we're going to be listening to the first album, I did listen to Trilogy quite a bit too, and that was a very good album at times. But at the end of the day, I gotta also give it to the first album for a couple reasons. Real quick, I did very little research on ELP. I did watch a couple of videos of them. I checked out their wiki page, and Emerson is the keyboardist. Lake was the singer for King Crimson on their first couple albums, definitely on Court of the Crimson King. And he also plays bass and guitar, and Palmer is the drummer. He was in the Atomic Rooster, a band that I have to dig into a little bit more. All virtuosic type players. And I would say that ELP were the pretty boys of prog too. Lake in particular. And they always wanted to show a lot of chest, and they had the long hair. They had their pictures on the cover of Trilogy, and there you go. Lovely lads. But I do think, versus Yes, King Crimson, Genesis, they were the pretty boys, and they were the beautiful face of prog. Without any more of that bullshit, we're going to talk about the track list. Barbarian, the first track, really grabbed me right off the rip with some really powerful fuzz bass, and this is a hard-hitting, kind of diminished instrumental. I'm going to try not get into the geek speak too much, but when you're talking prog, you are going to talk about theory. There's a lot of heavy organ on this track, heavy fuzz bass, and it's a ripper. I enjoyed this a lot. The drums are going for broke. And they followed that up with the acoustic, kind of jazzy, ballad, folky, jazzy, Take a Pebble. I didn't really love this song too much. Lake's voice is fantastic. He has a great voice. He could sing a phone book, but not really my cup of tea. It does seem to be kind of a trend with these prog bands to start you off with a really hard-hitting, what I would call heavy instrumental, and then do a really light folk or like jazzy thing. That's one of the things about prog. There's a lot of dynamics going on. It's just advanced musicianship, but sometimes it can be a little boring. And then the third track on side one, Knife Edge, is fantastic. Just this dark, groovy organ and bass-driven, scary lyrics. Awesome. One of the best prog tracks I've ever heard from anybody that I would consider a true prog band. Love Knife Edge. I could listen to that over and over. I've already started learning it on the piano. Now, side two that we're hearing right now is where they really start to test my patience. This epic suite, The Three Fates, as well as the following track, Tank, which I can't really differentiate between the two, just seem to go on forever. There are interesting ideas, I guess. There's like harpsichord going on. It's just very long-winded. This is the kind of prog that makes me hate prog, to be honest. And then the final track on the album is their big hit, Oh What a Lucky Man He Was, another folky kind of number. I like this song. I always like this song. It's cool. It has like a medieval type lyrical bent to it. Unfortunately, I don't have that much more time for part one of Prog Days. I feel like it went better than I thought it would. I'm sure that there's a lot of stuff that I missed. One thing that I thought was interesting about this album, and some of their other albums as well, but this charted at number 4 in the UK. And that, to me, is just so amazing that something so demanding of the listener could chart so high at any time. Because this was, post-Beatle world. What is this, 1970 probably? And 71. And I just didn't know that people, had the patience for it. And I think it reached number 18 in the US. Now, it did have What a Lucky Man, which was a big hit. But very, very challenging music. And, aside from the extended suite on side 2, I think it's a really good record. That just kind of bums me out. And it's still going on, and it's just kind of... It's cool, the playing is cool, the ideas are cool, but it doesn't really go anywhere for me. So stay tuned to Prog Days. We're going to talk about King Crimson, we're going to talk about Yes, we're going to talk about Genesis, and gain a greater appreciation for the weird world and the alternate sub-universe of prog. Get into some ducks over here. Let's see. The album cover, That was pretty cool. I'll give him that. Kind of looks like acrylic painting of a dove that's kind of like psyched out, and there's an ear, I guess, to represent the art of music. It's cool. Unique, yeah, I think ELP is very unique with their classical piano, heavy organs, extended instrumental suites, kind of medieval folklore lyrics, yeah. And I think ELP has a lot of attitude, especially on their song Knife Edge, that is just a ripper. It's a weird kind of attitude, but they got attitude for days. Is it fun? I gotta say no, because like side 2 is just so drawn out. And Take a Pebble is very drawn out too. Is it a classic? I'm not gonna comment. I guess I'll automatically give that to them because I'm not that well versed in the world of prog to really say if it's a classic or not. Of course, virtuoso musicianship is going to come from ELP in any good prog band. Production is pretty squeaky clean, I'll give them that. Cool lyrics, very cool lyrics. And is it heavy? Yeah. There's some very heavy moments on both sides, but especially side 1. The Barbarian and Knife Edge 2 sick tunes from ELP. Definitely put those on your prog rock playlist. And enjoy your day. Enjoy your progging out. Got about 30 seconds left, so I just want to thank you for spending this period of time with me in the prog days, in the world of ELP on Benny's alternate universe. We'll see you next time, probably with King Crimson's Lark's Tongue and Aspic. Awesome, mysterious record. It's very, very enjoyable. Till then, stay safe.